The Oak Tree Lesson. Extended cinematic story. Stay with me until the end of this story, because what begins as a lonely walk in a quiet park turns into a life-changing lesson a young boy never forgets. The village park was unusually silent that afternoon. The swings hung still, the fountain in the center glistened under the sun, and birds hopped lazily along the paths as if the world had slowed down. Liam walked alone, dragging his feet across the gravel. His backpack hung loosely from one shoulder, and his hair fell messily across his forehead, partly hiding the frustration in his eyes. He had just come from school, where another math test had gone badly. Another failure. Another reminder that he wasn't as good as everyone else. He kicked a small pebble forward and watched it bounce away. "I'm useless," he muttered to himself. "Why do I even try?" His voice cracked a little, but he quickly looked around to make sure no one heard. The late afternoon sun painted the park in warm gold, but Liam felt none of it. At the far edge of the park stood the old oak tree, so tall that its branches stretched like dark arms toward the sky. Its trunk was thick, rough, and covered with lines that looked like old scars. Liam had always gone there when he wanted to hide. The tree felt ancient, wise, and strangely comforting. He sat down under its heavy branches. Letting the shade wrap around him like a quiet shelter, he hugged his knees tightly and took a deep breath. "I try and try," he whispered, "but it's like nothing I do matters." The wind moved gently through the leaves, and they responded with a soft rustling sound, almost as if the tree was sighing with him. He picked up a fallen leaf and turned it in his fingers, watching the sunlight shining through its veins. For a moment, he felt small, smaller than the leaf, smaller than the world, smaller than anything. He thought he was completely alone, until he heard the soft crunch of footsteps behind him. An old man with silver hair, a wrinkled face, and a wooden cane slowly approached. His eyes were kind but observant, like he understood something without needing to ask. He stopped, looked at Liam for a moment, and then gently lowered himself to the ground beside him. "You look like someone carrying a heavy world on your shoulders," the old man said, breathing a little heavily as he leaned his cane against the tree. Liam shrugged, avoiding eye contact. "I guess." The old man studied him quietly, not pushing, not asking too much, just being present. "Sometimes the world feels heavier when we're trying to grow," he said softly. Liam frowned. "What do you mean?" The old man tapped the trunk of the oak tree with 2 fingers. "This giant right here," he said, "knows everything about heavy days." Liam looked up at the tree, confused. "It's just a tree." "Oh, it's much more than that," the old man replied with a smile. "It's a survivor, a fighter, a teacher." Liam raised an eyebrow. "A teacher?" "Absolutely," the old man nodded. "You just have to listen." He leaned back against the tree and closed his eyes for a moment, as if remembering something from a long time ago. "When this oak was young," he began, "it wasn't even a tree, it was just an acorn. A tiny seed smaller than your thumb." Liam stared at the huge trunk in disbelief. "It faced challenges long before it grew this tall," the old man continued. "Rain tried to drown it. The wind tried to throw it away, and winter tried to freeze it. But the acorn held on, the old man said, his voice steady and warm. Under the soil, where no one could see it, tiny roots began to stretch out. They were so small, so fragile, that even a drop of rain felt like a storm. Liam imagined the dark soil, the tiny seed fighting for space, the cold pressing in from all sides. It took weeks, the old man went on, sometimes months, and all that time, it looked like nothing was happening. He opened his eyes and turned to Liam. That's the hardest part of growing. You know, when you're changing on the inside, but the world hasn't seen it yet. Liam felt a chill run through him. That's exactly how he felt, like he was trying, but no one could see the effort. Little by little, the old man said, the acorn sent up a tiny shoot that it was weak and thin, and a single step could have crushed it. He gestured delicately with his fingers, but it kept growing anyway. Spring rains fed it, summer sun warmed it, autumn winds tested it, winter storms threatened it. And through every season, he continued, it grew slowly, quietly, patiently. Liam pictured the tiny sapling facing snow, lightning, strong winds, yet standing tall after each one. People passed by and never noticed it, the old man added. They didn't see its roots growing deeper, its trunk becoming stronger, its branches reaching higher. He smiled again. But the oak didn't grow for applause. It grew for itself. Liam looked up at the enormous branches above them. He felt the rough bark with his fingers, feeling the strength in every groove. So, even when no one noticed, he whispered, the tree was still becoming something big. Exactly, the old man said. Growth doesn't need an audience. Liam swallowed hard. His chest felt tight, but in a good way, like something inside him was opening. What if I'm growing slowly? Liam asked quietly. The old man chuckled. Slow growth is still growth. In fact, it's often the strongest kind. Liam stared at his hands for a long moment. For the first time all week, he didn't feel useless, he felt possible. The sky began to change, from blue to soft pink, from pink to deep orange. Sunlight filtered through the oak leaves, making them glow like tiny flames. The air grew cooler, and the shadows stretched long across the grass. The old man pushed himself up with his cane, grunting slightly. When I was your age, he said, I sat under this same tree and cried for the same reasons you're crying now. Liam looked up at him, surprised. Someone told me the acorn story back then, the old man continued, and it helped me more than you can imagine. He put a gentle hand on Liam's shoulder. And now it's my turn to pass it to you. Liam stood too. Brushing the dust from his shorts, he looked at the tree one last time. Strong, patient, silent. I think I'm ready to try again, he said softly. The old man smiled. That's all any of us can do. They walked out of the shade together, slowly, quietly, as the last golden light of the day fell across the old oak tree, and behind them, its leaves whispered a promise Liam would never forget. Grow, even if no one sees it yet. Thank you for watching and listening. For more stories, please like and subscribe and share your comments.